Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Dave, and we're running slightly behind. Not really, but I noticed the screen went black, and I'm like, that's not supposed to be like that. As we were just talking about tattoos and stuff before getting started here. But we're going to be playing Those Bastards, a 5e D&D live gameplay run by awesome Dungeon Master Robin Miller. We also have Steve and Partridge in the house. Both of them, you can find their links in the description to follow them across the interwebs. They are writers and do cool things, so check out their spots. And of course, myself, Ted, and Doug are here for Nerdarchy. With that, I'm just going to throw it to our Dungeon Master.
Cool. Salutations, nerds. Yes, the stuff that I have written down to say, Dave already said, so allow me a second to reboot a little bit before I turn the world on. I'm gonna roll this D4. No! I lost my D4. Okay, I have a different D4 here. That's okay. Maybe I'll find that one while we're playing. Gonna roll this D4 instead, and whoever it lands on is going to do the recap. And looks like that's gonna be Steven.
Hey, so yeah, in Those Bastards, which is our current campaign, all of us are half siblings. Last season, we found our dad, and he also apparently hid a constellation by giving all of us a star in it. The constellation being the Sword of Xiphos. So all of us are half siblings. We have a human father, and last time we began to set out looking for Grisha, who is the mother of Unga, who is our half-orc sibling. He's the baby of the family, but he's a big baby because he's giant. And he's actually like 18 or something, I think.
19
19
now. We had a
19.
time lapse. Yeah.
He's 19 now. And let me tell you, he is great because he also has a companion in a crab named Sheldon, who is also a sibling. Weirdly enough, we have a giant crab sibling. That being said, we encountered a lady on a horse who was being pursued by a dude on a horse, and they fired an arrow into an apple after we were transported to a blackleaf forest. I'm not going to try to cover everything, but I will end it on we got to the village where Grisha supposedly is, and everyone was frozen in time, as best as I understood it, just straight up not moving at all. So that's where we left it. I'm going to leave the rest for everybody else.
I think that pretty much covers it. Is anybody going to be totally heartbroken if we skip the rest of the recap?
Yeah. There's one very important thing.
Okay.
Vent is actually taller than Unga. Because he's 7 foot tall.
We discovered this halfway through last season, and I didn't know. So just imagine that the NPCs are slightly more intimidated talking to Vent than I portray them as, because I keep
He's got a swimmer's build and he's a goofball though.
Because Unga is probably twice as wide though.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's swole. And he's missing a hand.
Yeah, that's right. Now. That came up last week.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no.
To get into it. Let's dive in.
So we pick up in a town frozen in time, quite literally. As you wind your way through the village, you can see that most of these buildings were made to be picked up and moved with the tribe. And all of it is perfectly preserved, as if they were just set down yesterday. They might have been set down yesterday. You don't actually have any way of knowing for sure. There's a wizened older orc with a long beard, frozen in mid-stride, with all of his sheep surrounding him and his shepherd's crook in hand, his foot not quite touching the ground. There are a pair of orcish women embracing in front of a campfire, the flames eerily still, but still shedding light. And give me perception checks.
All right.
Theoretically good at these. Okay.
13 for Finn.
Holy crap.
Perception is +3, so 19.
I also have a 13.
21.
All right. So, Prudence, you notice a frozen adolescent boy staring wide-eyed at the sky and starting to point. And Sin, you notice a pair of eyes staring at you from between tents that actually blink before vanishing behind the tent. What do you do?
I will call out, there's something alive. Point off in the direction that I saw the thing moving.
Prudence is probably a little bit concerned about this and like a little bit lost in herself with everything going on. Do I know what is in the sky at night in that area?
Well, there really isn't anything. I mean, there are constellations, of course, but the pointing is lower than that.
Lower than that. Okay.
And there's nothing there now.
You said
Okay.
the eyes like ducked around the 10 or something?
Mhm.
So I will point in a direction and bark at Sheldon, hunt! And then I will scurry to the other side.
All right. So what does it mean when you instruct Sheldon to hunt?
He's going to try and get whatever's there. He may or may not try to eat it. It depends what it is.
Okay. Okay. Give me a roll for Sheldon.
What is Sheldon rolling for?
And make an attack.
Okay.
And go ahead and make it with advantage.
All right. That's
Ah,
12. And that's well, actually, I don't think that. So it's a 15 and a 19.
Okay. So you have caught an 8-year-old.
Okay.
And Sheldon's just like got his little legs in his claws and he's like trying to kick out and he is pure-blooded orc. Like he's got his like kind of mohawk going on. Like he's sort of dressed like, you know, the Lost Boys in
Yeah.
Hook. Like that's the kind of aesthetic he has, right? Like his hair's
Yeah.
tipped red. He's like struggling.
So
We got Rufio.
So
Yeah.
when I come around the corner, there's Sheldon. He's got each crab claw grappling this orc child, and he's kind of like this. When I get there, I'm like, no, Sheldon, no, don't eat, just hold it. Come, and then I'll have Sheldon march this child to the rest of the
He
group.
just side scuttles and drags this kid through the dirt. And he's just like kind of lying there with his head just going as Sheldon drags him over to the party. And he's got his arms folded and he looks very upset about this.
Who's
Hey,
this
boy.
young lad? And I'll get down on my knee near him and be like, "Are you okay, son?"
You do whatever you have to do to me. I'm not gonna talk.
What do you think we would do to you?
I don't know. Pliers, thumb screws.
I turn to Unga and say, "Is this how you grew up?
More or less.
We wouldn't do any such thing."
Dear child, have you eaten? Like, I want to just kind of give him a look over with medicine, see if he's like harmed or anything like that. If he seems well cared for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a medicine check.
Okay. I rolled a natural 1.
Oh,
Well, I mean, it's hard to tell because he is dirty. He is extremely dirty, but like dirty in the way that kids that don't have someone watching them will just get on their own, right? And his clothes are layered, so it's impossible to tell if he's been fed.
is it too late to say I'd like to help and you can roll with advantage?
I mean, no. Why would you get advantage?
Well, if I'm assisting, or I mean, I could roll as well, but
Oh, okay. Yes, no, I understand. But by all means,
Okay. so
assist with the
roll.
medicine check. I didn't understand what you were saying. Okay, yes, go ahead and roll again.
Me?
yes.
Okay. All
Help
right.
action.
Does Sin have prestidigitation?
I do.
I feel like
Oh,
the help is
no.
just cleaning him.
9 plus 6 for 15.
Okay. You know, he's been fed, but he's kind of grazing the way that kids graze. Again, you can tell that he does not have anyone looking after him, at least not an adult anyway. This is an almost feral child, though he speaks very well considering.
All the frozen people there are also orcs.
Yes. And mostly adults.
Okay.
Like the youngest person that you see frozen has to be about 18.
Well, you seem like a very brave young man to have stayed here to protect your people. What happened to them?
Well, and he like folds his arms again and he sits up and he's like, "Well, you make the and the make it let go."
Oh, Sheldon, he won't hurt you.
Sheldon,
Sheldon.
release.
And he kind of scoots back and then scrambles to his feet and dusts himself off, and it does nothing to dust him off in the slightest. He's just like got his poncho all covered in mud. And he's like, I'm a scout.
A scout.
I come back here every once in a while to see if anything's changed.
How long has it been like this?
I don't actually know, because we were like this too for a while, and then he came back and got us.
He who he?
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne.
Does his name ring a bell to anybody?
Go ahead and give me history, but it's gonna
Not
be a
even
high DC.
Not gonna roll.
History.
It's a 6.
Oh, like anybody can?
Oh yeah, anybody can
Oh.
roll it.
I got an 18 plus 0.
I got
Okay.
a 23.
All right, yeah, no, Prudence, Vint, both of you know that is the name of a sphinx.
Oh. Is it like a sphinx of import? Like, is this person like, because what I guess I'm trying to ask is this like a monster or is this like a monstrous person? Because this world has a lot more like monsters are people sort of vibes, I think.
I mean, kind of both. Like sphinxes, even in standard D&D, are extremely intelligent.
Yeah.
Like they cast spells and stuff.
Okay.
And they're more smarter than most people.
I put my hand on Prudence's shoulder and I say, Sphinxes are an enigmatic entity, Prudence. They travel to both time and space. And perhaps what had happened here is these people seem to be frozen in time.
And the boy is nodding sagely along with you, like, yes, that is exactly what happened here.
Oh.
So did these people incur the wrath of the Sphinx, or?
Well, he tells us that he's got us here on layaway in case he needs us to do stuff for him, and that's what he got some of us out for. And he's like kind of scratching his arm under the poncho, flaking off some dirt. Like, he takes all right care of us. We get freedom to do whatever it is we want to do in between, but he just kind of asked us to go and, do a little mischief now and then.
Mischief where?
On the other side of the woods over that way. And he's like pointing in the direction of your grandfather's holdings. Sin.
So what did he free you for? You're so scrawny. I'll poke at him with my hook.
Hey, and he like takes a step back and he's like, yeah, well, I got 2 hands.
Good point, but I have a service crab, so it's okay.
Well, he's not having us raid him or anything. We're just taking stuff, and it's easier to do that if you're little. I was smaller when he got us out.
So what is it that the Cheyenne tends to have you take?
Well, occasionally gold, but lots of times it's food, but the food's for us. He had us get this mirror once.
A mirror?
Lurza started a fire, and the rest of us kind of went in the house and just looked around and, took it.
Did grandfather have any special mirrors that I remember?
I mean, like nothing that an orc child would be able to carry out. He does have a floor-length mirror, but it's special because it's expensive.
Mm-hmm. Was it a large mirror you were after, or something that was smaller?
Oh, it was like this size. It was on a lady's desk.
That doesn't ring a bell to me.
Go ahead and make an intelligence check for me.
You never know, man.
6. I already did
No.
my nat 20 for the night, so that's how I spotted the kid.
So Unga
So I
will
assume
go
I
over
failed.
to the fire and he wants to see if it gives off heat.
It does.
And then he's gonna go to one of the people next to the fire and see if he can move them.
Yeah.
Like if he can like reposition their limbs and stuff like that.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
I'll have to remember this for
So
later.
they're
And then,
stuck in stone, but they can be altered.
No, they're frozen, in
frozen.
time.
Yeah, they're frozen
okay.
in place. They're not. Hey, boy. Do you,
Marzan.
do you know Grisha?
Yeah, I know Grisha. How do you know Grisha?
We're related. Is
No,
she
you
among,
can't be related. I don't know you.
Is she among the frozen?
Well, yeah, but she's not here.
Does this Cheyenne have Grisha?
And he just kind of pulls a face and kicks a rock.
Can I?
I will lift him up by his scruff.
Hey! And he's like
hold him.
kicking at you.
Can I insight his huff?
Yeah.
Can I use my inspiration and reroll that?
Yes, you absolutely can.
All right, that's much better. That's a nat 20 for a 24.
Okay, so you can tell by that huff that yes, Cheyenne has Grisha, and no, Marzan is not happy about it, and he has personal reasons for not being happy about it.
Yeah. Well, all of this is lost on Unga. He marches over to Sheldon. Boy, if you don't tell me where Grisha is,
Marzan.
whatever, Sheldon will begin picking pieces off of you while you're alive and devouring.
He's
He
already,
starts flailing.
he's already said that we can do as we want. He's not going to talk.
People say a lot of things until things start happening.
How about we have a nice little conversation instead, and we not offer threats?
Do people like this arrangement, Marzan?
They don't like much of anything. They're stuck. Look.
So
And he's still struggling, but it's not getting him anywhere.
I'm trying to insert myself in between, trying to get Sheldon to back off. He'll listen to me.
Sheldon already has his orders from Unga.
Sheldon barely listens to Unga.
Call him off, dear brother. Let's try a different approach.
Fine, and I will toss Marzan.
This
Here,
sounds like
you
very.
convince Marzan, and I toss him at Sin's feet.
All
I
right,
kind of
so
like squat down on my haunches in a huff.
so first off, Marzan, what do you know about Grisha?
I know she's really strong and she's in charge when we're at war, but we weren't at war when this happened. A lot of stuff, really.
And what do you know about where she is? Is she with this Cheyenne?
Yeah. He took both our leaders.
And beyond her being a leader to you, are there any other connections?
And he just kind of makes a face at you and he's like, why do you need to know so bad?
Well, the way you spoke, I kind of feel that there's something left unsaid.
I said I wasn't going to talk.
I'm not going to force you to say anything that you don't want. And I gesture to those around me, one at a time, going from, Prudence to Vent to Unga and even to Sheldon. We're all siblings here. And I'm wondering if, and I gesture from Unga to Marzan, are you two siblings?
No, he can't be. She only has one other son and he was a little baby.
This is our baby brother.
No, he's giant.
It's because he ate his vegetables and listened to his parents.
18 years ago, 19 years.
19.
Well, it's only been like 3 years for me.
Unfortunately,
Because of the
You must-
freezing in time stuff.
What, seriously? Seriously?
It's possible. I mean, it's, this does seem like very unsphinx-like behavior to sort of control your people's destiny, and I certainly don't like that. I'd like to have words with this Cheyenne, but perhaps when he does this to you, time doesn't pass. You're in a sort of limbo. I do worry though that you seem very vulnerable out here.
What did happen exactly? Did the Sphinx do this? And if so, how?
Well, yeah,
Oh.
he used his magic and froze us. I mean, you can kind of move them around, but you can't really hurt them, right? Like, they're safe.
well,
Um,
would they prefer to? I mean, would it be better to put them in a dwelling and have them look like they're resting as opposed to just out here frozen in time? Seems rather odd.
I don't know. They're real big, and I'm not really strong enough to move them.
Well, is not so much a problem, and I gesture towards the two massive, Vint and Unga. They can move them quite easily.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I mean, they're your kin.
Must keep you frozen for a long time if only 3 years seem to have passed for you.
Well,
And how old
I
does
mean,
he
I
look?
stopped being frozen 3 years ago.
How old
And
does he
so
look?
did Lurza and the other kids.
You said he looks about 10,
Looks about 8.
8?
Okay.
So he only unfroze the children.
So they
Marzan
could
nods.
age up. This guy sounds like he's, this sounds very unsphinx-like.
Well, maybe he's a bad sphinx.
I mean, just because something is a certain species, it doesn't make it good or evil.
No, it's just, I'm surprised to hear of a sphinx using people as its pawns like this.
Would you say they're cat's paws?
It's a good one, Unga. People's,
Here's a question. Why does he harrow this place over yonder? And she sort of gestures to where Galason's homestead is.
And they have magic.
Yes, but so do many others in this world. Why there?
I mean, I guess they have something specific magic that he wants. He doesn't tell us stuff.
Would you be willing to take us to see where you come from? And perhaps we might be able to help all of you be freed.
And we don't take adults there.
Well,
The
we-
reason for it?
Well, when adults show up, we throw rocks at them until they leave. Adults suck. They tell you to go to bed and eat your vegetables. He makes a face at Vent.
We're not going to tell you what to do, and we're not going to tell you what to eat. Do you wish your kin freed?
Yeah. Because
Well,
it was great for a little while. We got to stay up as long as we wanted, but I kind of miss her.
well, we wish to find Grisha, and I imagine, as is fairly standard for what we do, if we start pulling at the threads of this, we're gonna wind up getting everybody freed, and not just Grisha. So, the more information that you're able to give us and aid us with, the faster we can be able to make that happen. Again, I'm not going to try to force you to do anything. But if that is your end goal, that aligns with what we wish to do as well.
I'm going to have to go ask him first. Can you meet me back here tomorrow?
I look to Vint.
If that's what you feel most comfortable with, Marzan.
Well, I'm gonna have to ask Lurza. She's in charge because
That's
she's the
the other
biggest
leader.
and the oldest.
I
Is
understand.
Is there any like regular animals around in the village, like squirrels, birds, that kind of thing?
Yeah, they're all frozen too.
Okay.
Oh, so this whole area is.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, there are a lot of like sheep and goats because this is a nomadic tribe, so they've got the herd that they bring with them.
Okay. Interesting.
Very well. We will agree to meet you here. And when he's without of earshot, Prudence is going to look at all of them and say, so do we follow or do we actually let this be on their terms?
I trust Marzan. He's going to. The other leader is. Grisha's one of the leaders, right?
Right, but Grisha's
this-
frozen and she's also an adult.
The war leader.
Right. But the other woman that he's going to tell is not frozen.
Well, it's not that much of a jump to make that Lurza is probably also a child and is just leading the children.
Oh.
So, how on the level did Marzan seem to be when I was chatting with him?
Well, he's definitely gonna ask Lurza, but he can't make any promises that she's gonna be on board with this.
Oh, well, in
Right,
that case, yeah, Prudence, we should totally follow.
Very
Like,
well.
Did it
Yeah.
seem like he was at all being devious, or like, did it seem like, yeah, he'll go check and then come back?
I mean, he didn't seem like he was being devious.
Okay.
So I will say to the group, let's go. We'll meet back with him tomorrow, and then once I get 90-ish feet away, I'll look back over my shoulder and cast Hunter's Mark.
Okay.
I would like to Prudence just sort of starts whispering, and you hear like these dissonant whispers sort of collecting in your ears, like in the back of your head, as the darkness sort of starts closing in just a little bit and the light drinks away, and everyone has passed without trace.
Right.
And then with this kind of then it's set up and she's gonna take to the air and fly after him, hopefully stealthily.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
All right, and I can move at a regular pace with in a stealthy way with this, so that helps a lot. So I got a 10 plus 12, 22.
Okay. Yeah, you don't think he sees you, and you manage to track him back to, you get to the coast, and then there's a shipwreck, and it's like kind of half buried in this cliff face that seems to be mostly dirt, and then there's like a hole in the side of the ship, and these kids have like built their clubhouse in this shipwreck.
That sounds awesome.
Okay. So we are on the coast.
Yeah.
At this point. Okay. So I will see if I can maybe alight somewhere and just spy a little bit.
Okay.
Because I'm like that.
Like the crow's nest?
Yeah,
Or like farther away?
And I did include Unga. I don't know if Unga's here too.
Yeah, I was going to follow along and track
Okay,
him.
cool. Yeah, you are following at enough of a distance that he definitely doesn't see you.
So Gillisan and I would probably follow along behind them. Like, I imagine Unga's like doing his tracking thing. So it's like,
All right, before you leave, Luvelle is going to flag you down.
I was gonna address that, but
And
sure.
they're like, all right, I'm going to keep Dad here. We're going to take a look around, like look in all these buildings and stuff. And afterward, I'm going to go ahead and take him back to the tower. And then you guys can come report back after. Good?
And just
Louvel,
make
as
sure-
always, you read my mind.
And
Just make-
they do a slight bow.
I would just say, just make sure that Grisha is in fact not here, as is probably, the only one who among us would be able to know what she looks like on sight.
Yeah, that tracks. And Luvelle looks over their shoulder, and Calden's like, I'm already looking.
And I'll tell Louvel, like, quietly between us before it really is. I'll just say, listen, I couldn't do any of this without you, so I don't even know what I'd be doing if you weren't here. Thank you so much.
That is very much appreciated.
All right, good luck.
You too. And you part company for the moment.
Yeah.
All right, so you are all now on the coast and you can see the ship. What do you do?
Prudence is gonna like try to land somewhere where she has like view of a window or something like that. I'm not actually sure what else is going on, but she's gonna try to be as stealthy as possible. Maybe pull her hood up and everything, and just kind of like very quietly alight.
Okay. Are you getting close enough to like hear what's going on inside the window?
Yes, if I can.
Yeah, you absolutely can. Like it's a ship and you can kind of hang on to the decoration on the front, right? Like near the mast
Mhm.
and see in the port window. And you're very dark against a dark sky, so they don't seem to have noticed you. And it's Marzan and then this orc girl with like 4 braids, and she's got like stone rings at the ends of those braids that like fall to her waist. And you almost get the feeling like she could use them as a weapon. She looks
Okay.
to be about 14.
Okay.
And she's dressed very much the same way he is, with her boots like propped up on the table. They're a little too big for her. Like you can kind of see the signs of her having stuffed them with cloth to get them to fit right, and they've got spikes on the toes. And she's like, you're telling me these grown-ups just like sat down and had a conversation with you and one of them was a bat? It's like, yeah, I saw her myself. She's a big bat lady and she had horns, and I think she stabs things with them with her head. And she's like, slow down for a second. All right. I assume I believe you. Why should I go meet these people? And he's like, cause one of them's my little brother, except he's not little anymore. He's huge. What are we gonna do? She's like, well, first of all, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna tell all the other kids to be on watch and standing around the outside in case they're dumb enough to follow us here, and tell them to get the rocks, like the big rocks, not the little rocks. Well, some of the little rocks, because they might be far away and we'll need the slingshot then, but mostly the big rocks for throwing down at them. He's like, all right, that's why you get paid the big bucks, Lerza. He goes,
I love that this feels like Hook. I just love it.
I never even saw that movie, but I love it also. What is going on?
You got to watch Hook. It's great.
it's great.
So Prudence is going to look to where Unga is hiding and just see what he's doing, because she's going to base her actions off what he's doing. Because as far as she's concerned, this is more his thing than anybody's. If I can get away with flying over to him, I will do so to communicate with him what I learned.
You can do that, but it's going to take another stealth check depending on where Unga is. Unga, where are you?
So it's coastal. I think he's probably like half burrowed in the sand with Sheldon. Since
Okay.
this is something that's kind of familiar to us.
Okay. So stealth check. I am going to use my inspiration to re-roll that because that was a natural 1 again. I'm really rolling those ones
Oh
today.
man, those dice are brutal to you tonight.
I know, right? 15 plus 12 for 27.
Okay. Yeah, no, you managed to get over there just fine.
Okay. So Prudence will just kind of whisper to Unga and communicate everything that happened, and then she'll follow it up with, what should we do? Do you want us to go back to the village, or do you want us to talk with them? Do we get the jump on them?
I think we should grab them and beat them until they tell us where Grisha is.
No, let's not do that one. We can find Grisha if we follow them to the Sphinx. I don't know if they're going to the Sphinx right now, but you are a tracker, yes? You may be able to find tracks or evidence of where the Sphinx is from here, right?
Do I know that sphinxes fly?
Yeah, you know that sphinxes fly.
Like, I don't know. They've got wings. I would only be able to see where they set down.
Then perhaps we use a little less force, but we go in and try to ask them what is going on.
I like that idea. And then if they don't cooperate, we can beat them.
let's hold off on the beating of the children. Don't get me wrong. I am not a fan of children as such. I'm not very good with them, but I don't think that beating them is generally the way to deal with them.
I've waited all my life to meet my mother, and I'm not going to let them stop me.
Well, of course not. But there are ways that are different levels of effective to get what you want. And I feel like beating the children is probably the least effective of those methods.
You're much wiser than me, so I will concede to your ways. But if that fails, I will leave beating the children as a backup plan.
That is fair. We'll start there. And then she'll sort of also sneak a cookie to Sheldon. Just pat where he is in the sand.
Yeah. Disclaimer: Nerdarchy does not endorse nor do they believe in the beating of children in the real
world. or giving cookies to crabs, because I'm pretty sure that would kill them in the real world. So
no, Sheldon is a special crab that can eat cookies, and Prudence is a druid
because he's half human.
I think crabs are scavengers and can probably eat anything.
Prudence is trained in nature. I'm sure she knows what ingredients would kill a crab.
Yeah.
So, yes, if not, she would definitely put special study during our year break to find out what she can feed him.
Like people make their own dog biscuits too. These are crab biscuits.
Yes, exactly.
We call them crab cakes. He loves eating them.
I think that's something else, maybe.
I believe crabs are cannibals.
So
crabs will in fact eat other crabs.
They love crab cakes just as much as us.
Yeah. Listen,
Sheldon and I have stayed up many a late night having crab cakes at the Babylon Candle.
Oh my God! All right,
lemon and butter on a crab is absolutely delicious, and even crabs know it.
Well, Vent realized, and he tried to map down his fiery head, but realized that's not working. And I don't want to get too close, because they might see his head from afar. And I just remembered that because I had the word glass in it, I was like, oh, I want a spyglass when I was making this character. So he is very far back on maybe like a bluff with some, like foliage and stuff. And I want to get a look at like the whole, the ship, like the broad picture. Like he's sort of like looking around us. What I'm imagining, it's like the front of, we're looking at like it's cut in half and the open end is like sticking out. Is that sort of it? Right? Is that fair to say?
The open end of the ship?
Yeah, it's like, I'm imagining like a ship was chopped in half somehow and like the middle is facing out. Is that?
Oh, no. It's absolutely the bow or the stern. I don't know which one is the front half, but the front half is sticking out and the rest of it appears to be buried, and then there's a hole in the side.
Oh, okay. So yeah, just from wherever angle he's at, he's just sort of like looking around like, how many of these kids are there and things like that. That's all.
Well, give me perception.
Sure. Use inspiration. He's really taking it seriously. So let's see. First roll, good thing I used it, was a 2. And inspiration is a 10.
Okay. So you can see about a dozen.
Okay.
Most of them seem to be littler, like between 8 and 12. There are a couple bigger ones.
Now was Gallison, was he with me or did he get?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Oh. Then I would remark on that to him and say, like, I think the Sphinx might be letting these kids grow up in this wild, dangerous environment only to trap them in time later, use as pawns. That's kind of messed up, don't you think?
That does seem a little odd. I don't know what they would be stealing to make it worthwhile for the Sphinx to do this.
Well, I mean, they did say something about a mirror. We've encountered some pretty powerful magical mirror-like surfaces of our own. Maybe your grandfather had something. Or, I mean, is this like a countryside where like they're the only people that live around there?
So, yeah, kinda. Like there aren't really settlements around where the shipwreck is, but there's a lighthouse a bit down the coast from here. Other than that, it's pretty much just scrub, like and then the woods. And then on the other side of the woods are the elves, and like there might be other people living in the woods, but
Yeah.
you know, as far as you know, it's just them.
So yeah, it seems like a low investment, Gallison. I mean, you trap people in time. If these orc kids survive, they'll certainly be pretty tough and resourceful. And then when they're old enough, they'll do his bidding. I don't really understand why they are, but I don't really like bullies or people that oppress others. And Argenvar taught me that.
Sure. Along the same lines. I was somewhat bullied by my grandfather. I mean, after all, who refers to the child in the house as sin?
Yeah, you had a pretty rough time of it, huh? How are you feeling about that? I mean, do you even want to go back there?
It's not something I am looking forward to, but if we have to go in that direction to deal with this whole Grisha issue, then so be it. I don't believe that my grandfather's words can do any further harm than they've already done.
I mean, if they made you the man if they had anything to do with the man you are today, then I won't say that I'm glad they happened, but I couldn't picture you any other way.
Well,
I like who you are.
well, thank you. I just wonder what I would be if I had, what do you call it? Love and support, encouragement.
Well, you've got it now.
Well, indeed, I do. So,
What do you think Unga and Prudence are up to? Can I see them? Can I kind of look around and see them?
there was a
Well,
stealth roll of
Prudence rolled a
27
pretty
that I heard.
high stealth check.
Yeah. I don't even see them at all. Do you think they're in danger?
So yeah, me and Sheldon are been sneaking up there.
Okay.
All right.
I'm fairly certain if Unga were to be in danger, we would hear about it.
Give me a stealth check, Unga.
All right. So Sheldon has a 22.
Okay.
And
How's that with the plus 10 from past?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I was like, whoa.
Can I also be kind of flying back up to where I was perched before?
Mhm.
So
I
can
got a 25 even with this.
Woo-wee.
Okay, yeah, no, they absolutely do not see you coming, and you can see them up there with their rocks and their slingshots, but they're doing not a thing.
So I got 25.
Yep, you're good.
Cool. So I'm gonna wait and let Unga take lead on this, but I just want to be ready.
At about this point, you can hear Lurza tromping around up on the deck, and she's just like, now listen up. There's some adults and they want to talk to us, and a couple of us are going to ride out to meet them in the morning. But we're not going to let them take over here. We made this place, we built this place, we got our stuff here, and they can't take our stuff. And they're like, yeah. She's like, and they can't stop us from eating cake for dinner if we can find cake. Yeah. And they can't stop us from hunting, and they can't stop us from catching critters. And it's just that. That's basically what they're doing. She's giving him a pep talk.
So I want to try and climb up the ship to get to where they are.
Okay. I am not even going to make you roll for that. There are handholds built into the side because these are kids and not all of them are good climbers.
Okay. Stay here, Sheldon, and then I'll scurry up.
All right.
And then I'm just going to stand up over the edge.
Okay.
Right there.
A 10 is not going to hit your AC, but one of the kids throws a rock and it goes sailing by your head.
If you continue to do that, my brother is over there, and I just point in a general direction, and he will incinerate your ship. It will burn.
I'm not afraid of your incinerating.
It sounds
and the
like
rest
this
of the
place,
kids go, yeah.
It sounds like this place is important to you. Do you know what incinerate means?
And there's some whispering, and one of them's like, it means it tastes like cinnamon.
That's what I thought too, but then Vent explained it to me. No, it means it'll burn this ship to the ground. It'll be ash.
Why would you do that?
Because you just throw a rock at me, you little dick.
I didn't hit ya.
Yeah, because you got a lousy throwing arm. Now knock it off and come here. Let's talk.
And
I only
like,
care about finding Grisha. This place doesn't mean anything to me.
so he starts to walk over there, and Lurza like puts an arm out and then walks over to you instead. And she's got so much attitude. She's got her arms folded and her head like kind of tilted up and like lips pursed. And she's like, "What do you want to know about it?"
I just want to know where to find Grisha.
Well, Cheyenne has her.
He just kind of grimaces because he's trying to be to control himself. I understand Cheyenne has her. Where might I find Cheyenne?
Look, he comes here and he lands on the deck sometimes. He gives us his orders and then he goes. Give me insight.
All right, that's a check that I can make that I'm not very good at. That's a 3.
Yeah.
After this, can I just kind of like climb up
Mhm.
and just sort of like sit there nonchalantly, and she'll say, "A direction would be lovely."
And Lurza just kind of takes a step back, takes one look at you, and she's like, "Holy cricket, she really is a bat lady."
Tiefling, but more or less. We have no interest in taking your ship from you. We have no interest in stopping you from eating cake. Frankly speaking, I think that sounds delightful right about now. But regardless, we are looking for his mother because he wants to meet her. He hasn't had the opportunity. And at his heart, he's a good fellow who just really wants to meet the person who brought him into this world. I don't think that's an unreasonable request.
But he's like a zillion years old.
I'm like a zillion years old. He's about half a zillion.
But he can't be half a zillion years old. Grisha's other kid was a baby when we all got frozen.
Yes, you got frozen in time. That's the way magic works, dear.
And she's like kind of eyeing up Unga with this like she doesn't like how big you are look.
Would it help if you had a little bit of a demonstration to see just how impressive magic can be?
Is that a threat?
No, it's more of an offer. And she will summon her produce flame, and it will make this pink, blue, and purple fire that's just roiling in a ball over her palm.
And like several of the children are impressed, and Lurza is doing her best not to look impressed. She still looks kind of angry that you're stealing the show.
And then she'll just close her hand and it snuffs out. And she'll say, "I can summon my siblings here and we can have a little chat and be on our way. Or if you'd rather, we can have you throw rocks at us and then he'll do what he's going to do." She nods to Unga and everyone will be unhappy.
Well, it's not fun if you want us to throw rocks at you. What's wrong with you?
Did you know I can become rocks?
What?
What?
One of my magic.
I also say what?
Dear, you remember last night I turned into a statue when I went to sleep.
Do you turn into a statue when you go to sleep?
Yeah, she has a spell that does that. She has meld into stone.
Okay.
So Lurza exchanges a glance with Marzan, and then she looks back at Unga, and then she's like, "Fine, but you're still our little brother. I don't care how big you are."
What?
Our?
Hey, and now Unga looks like he just got hit in the forehead with one of those rocks.
Yeah, you heard me. I don't care that you're taller than me. I'll still kick your butt.
You two are related?
Yeah, Grisha is our mom.
And he gets like this wide expression, and he's just gonna scoop them both up in one.
And she like makes this eep sound and kind of struggles a little bit, but you're way bigger than she is, so it doesn't work. She's like, put me down. They can see you doing this.
I don't care. Sheldon!
And Sheldon like scuttles up the side, just by you in an instant.
We have more siblings.
What do you mean we? That's a crab.
That's Sheldon. That's my brother.
Your brother's a crab.
Yes. Well, half brother.
See, like, blood brothers? Did you cut your thumbs
No.
or something?
No.
'Cause that'd be real hard. He's got claws.
Well, it's complicated. Maybe Prudence or Vent can explain it to you, but we're all siblings.
Our mutual father gets around.
I mean, you're not siblings with them. I'm siblings with them. But we're siblings, and Sheldon's my sibling. But he's not your sibling.
I'm really confused.
I know, our family is very...
Yeah,
very
this family
complicated.
tree would be.
But you promise you're not gonna hurt her?
No, I want to meet her. I want to save her from this Cheyenne.
And you're big enough that you could probably do it too. We'll be big enough to do it too eventually.
Not if this Cheyenne keeps freezing you.
And she has this really stricken look for a second, like that just never occurred to her.
Does
Okay.
Cheyenne ever put you back in the freeze?
She just nods. Yeah.
This is not acceptable.
I wish she'd stop doing it too.
Prudence, can this
Yeah.
Sphinx thing put them in the freeze without a head?
I very much doubt it.
Perfect, we have a plan.
Okay,
I'll put them
cool.
down.
So we're gonna cut its head off?
Yes.
No, dear, we're going to cut its head off, and you're going to stay here.
Oh,
and
why should I
protect
stay
your
here?
fort.
No. And she just folds her arms again.
So
Oh,
would we have seen Prudence's fire from off of the bluff?
Yeah.
Imagine so, like I was in the chat, I was kind of joking around and be like, "We could just grab those kids. Looks like he's crushing them to death."
Yeah, it's
Better
probably
get
safe
over
for you
there.
guys to come over here.
Yeah. So whether it was the fire or that.
Yeah, either way. So we'll
Yeah.
we'll be
I
in
like the
that
fire.
direction.
You know what? Fair. If you want to go and risk your lives, they are your lives to risk.
No, not them, just me. Besides, you don't know where Cheyenne is.
You're correct. But that doesn't mean we couldn't find him if you would tell us which direction he goes.
I could do that. But then you'd go without me.
I mean, you're not as stupid as you might seem sometimes.
No, I'm the smartest person here. Except maybe you.
I have an intelligence of 10. So you probably are smarter than me.
Well, she doesn't know that.
If we're there, I'll say it must be it can often be really difficult to be both brave and smart. I mean, on the one hand, you know that all of these others are depending on you to protect them.
Holy
And-
cricket, you're on fire.
Well, yes. And then just like sort of take a beat because it just threw me off. But I'll say like I'll sort of like I'll kind of like talk quietly to her, be like, the same way these people, all my siblings, they're depending on me. All yours are depending on you. If
You're
you come
really
with us-
tall.
Yeah. Well, it's because I ate my vegetables and listened to my parents.
That's gross. You're gross.
Fair enough. Then that way, if we fail in what we set out to do, this Cheyenne won't have any reason to suspect you had anything to do with it, and you can keep your people safe. But if you come with us and we fail, then who are they going to look to?
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. 10.
You know, that was actually persuasive enough that I think a 10 is gonna do it. She like nods a little bit and she's like, okay, fine, I'll stay here and take care of them.
You need a better plan than rocks. And I take off my longbow and my quiver and hand it over.
And she holds them for a second. She's like, is this like a slingshot?
No, and then so I placed the longbow in my hook, and then show her how to draw the arrows and how to fire them.
And so she'll like do it a couple of times after you show her how to make sure that she's got it down. And she needs practice, but you can kind of see the shape of something getting done here.
Apparently, I've got a crossbow as well. I could totally, give that to them because I will never use it.
Like all good wizards, you're like, I might need that crossbow. Nah. That's too crude to even imagine. Like,
it came with the starting gear. I've got. Yeah, right. I don't need that stuff.
I don't even know how this works.
So she will set the bow down very carefully, and she will turn to Unga, and she like motions you down.
I will kneel down.
So, do you see that lighthouse over there? You're gonna want to go past that, and then you're gonna want to take a boat, and you're gonna want to go across the water. And on the other side of the water, there's a big rock that kind of looks like a hand. And the middle finger is all curled up like the rest of them, but that's the one that points in the direction you need to go from there. And you're going to go, and it's going to feel like you're going for a really long time. Because it felt like we were going for a really long time. The sun went up and down a bunch of times. But you got to keep going until you find the waterfall. And he lives behind the waterfall, up at the tippy top.
Oh, so this is going to take multiple days.
Yes.
Well, we'll need a proper ship then, won't we?
But not this one.
And a
Because
crew.
it's broken. And it's ours. And you can't have it. And she just looks so sincere.
Would never dream of it, Lurza.
I have to let Dad know. Would I know if, like, from this area where we might be able to acquire a boat?
From this
Probably by
area,
portmanteau.
no, but you know who might be able to bring you one.
Myth?
Yeah.
Because she's in portmanteau.
We'll have to send her a message.
Is she a pirate now?
Yeah, she's a pirate now.
Went from being a sculptor to a pirate. Wow, awesome.
Well, sadly, I don't have any spells prepared that can communicate with Myth today. But, does anyone have any ideas to how to get a message faster than tomorrow?
Well, if you're going on a ship and you're going a long way off, you're going to need food and stuff anyway.
That's true.
Marzanne, and he's like, what? She's like, go get a bushel. And so he goes below deck and he's gone for a little bit.
Wow. A perilous journey against an inscrutable foe to find a parent. Sounds like we got ourselves our path of destiny to follow, siblings.
Indeed.
Searching for parents seems to be what we do here.
What is the leader's name again? The young girl?
Lurza.
Larza?
Lurza.
Lurza.
That's a great orc name.
Mm-hmm.
So they're older than Unga?
I mean, chronologically, yes,
Yeah.
but technically Lurza's 14 and Marzanne's only 8.
Right,
so.
right.
Well, perhaps we rest here for tonight. I can cook us a nice meal. All of us.
Marzanne stops at the top of the stairs and he's like, does that mean you won't need these oranges?
Oh no, we can do something with the oranges.
Brings it over to you. It's just a bushel of oranges.
How
I
far
can do
away?
something with
How
bit.
far away are we from the fields with the black apples?
Not too far. It actually wouldn't take you too long to go over there and pick some.
Uh, so have you ever had the apples from the black trees?
Oh yeah. Sometimes we run out of food, and that's what we eat then.
Oh, well, get some of those, and also we'll need some of the black leaves
Okay.
for seasoning. And then do you have any sort of wild game out here? Any sort of birds or?
Yeah, we shoot rocks at them sometimes. Occasionally we get bird.
Okay.
Robin, I want to cheat. I don't know whether this is allowable or not.
Okay.
I want to pull out my wand and I want to summon a swarm of bats and have them just go fetch.
I'll allow it.
Awesome.
Ooh, cool.
That is
That is
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah, they'll
Black
come
bats
back with
gathering
leaves.
black apples.
So
Mhm.
leaves and apples, and I don't remember what the duration is on this.
Like, I don't think I wrote one, so we're just gonna go with enough time to fetch back some apples. And all of the kids are suitably impressed by this. Even Lurza, even though she's like just old enough to be kind of jaded by everything, she thinks that's really cool.
All right, Lurza.
Mhm.
How do you feel about flying?
You mean like really high up?
Yes.
I've never done it.
Would you like to?
Holy cricket, yeah.
All right, then. Hold on. And I'm going to take her and I'm going to fly. And because I have proficiency in an herbalism kit, I want to go foraging with her for mushrooms and herbs and whatever else I can find.
And this is officially the coolest night of her life.
So she is just absolutely like making a
She
show
is
of it, like doing
flying.
tricks if she can do it safely, all that sort of stuff.
And the other kids, like they're all orc kids, and like just generally like some of them have clothes that are just made from whatever they could find. One of them's got like a pauldron made out of a shelled coconut, like and they all think that Unga is the coolest thing ever, like since he gave them actual weapons. And they're like bringing up food and stuff, so they've got like a little bit of stale bread and some oranges and like just stuff that'll keep well, and they're like bringing it all up to help with the dinner preparations.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'll start trying to either set snares or build fishing nets from whatever materials I can find, even if I have to go back to the village. Or maybe
Okay.
they even have that stuff to use. And
They probably do. Like it was in the middle of an average day, and the kids don't know what to look for.
Yeah.
So shall I roll to figure out what I find?
By all means.
All right. What am I rolling? Nature, survival, something else?
Whichever's higher for you.
Okay. Nature is +3, survival is +3. So it'll be the same either way. That is 16 + 3 is 19.
Okay, so you have found a bunch of berries that are in various shades of blue, and you have found a couple of mushrooms that are also in various shades of blue, but they wouldn't be anywhere else. They're just kind of shadow stained.
Okay.
But they're still safe to eat. You have found a couple of eggs that are fairly reasonably sized, like big enough that you could make a big group meal out of them. And they, just the eggs of some large bird in a nest that hasn't been touched in a little bit. You find good things that you can make a nice dinner out of.
Awesome. And as we're going, Prudence is just sort of like pointing out things and being like, so these berries here are savory and spicy. They're very potent, so you only need a little bit to go a long way. These mushrooms are very hearty and they work as a meat substitute. And she just like going through all the different things, like explaining nuances to her, trying to give her like as close to proficiency in herbalism as she can in a night.
And Lurza's paying very careful attention to the things you're pointing out, and you get the feeling that she'll remember this fairly well.
Do not eat those. Those ones are poisonous. Those are very poisonous and they will kill you. but they're very poisonous and they will kill you, so they can be weaponized.
She picks a couple of those berries and puts them in a separate sack.
and she'll just like keep talking her through it, and then they'll come
If
back.
I rub those berries on one of the arrows, will it still poison someone?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, she's very delighted by that.
No, these are very, very toxic. That's why we pick them.
Wait.
this way.
She's very delighted.
Yes, indeed.
And do not, whatever you do, don't touch them with bare hands.
No, I have orc hands, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Somebody was going to say.
Cover your hands
Okay.
or use utensils. And I'm just like showing her how to harvest stuff and all that, and
All right.
talking her through a couple things that have alchemical properties, but that's for another time because alchemy is a whole nother monster.
Mhm.
And yeah, we'll just go back with whatever haul we can muster.
All right. So from now on, you are Bat Sister, and that is just what you are being called by these kids.
That's fine.
Like, even the ones that aren't related to Unga, you are Bat Sister.
That's fair.
As
So-
they get back to the boat, is it night or day?
It's night.
Okay. So yeah, I imagine maybe they have like a fire or something, like a
Yeah.
central fire. Yeah, and
But
I've
it's
just
on the
been
beach, not on the ship.
okay.
Because
Yeah, 'cause
wood.
it would burn. But I'm just regaling whoever will sit by with like tales of Argenvar and like the city of Brass and like how he, defended the city against like the Azar revolution of blah 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 here. But as they come back and they're alighting, Prudence and Lurza, and I'm like, and that's why if an elf looks you in the eyes, they're trying to read your thoughts.
And they all internalize this elvish racism and will carry it for a very long time.
So when I see Vint start to go into story mode, as I know he likes to do, I'll just kind of like pat him on the shoulder and hit him with a enhance ability,
Oh, cool.
Eagle Splendor.
Wow, thanks.
Cool.
So,
So yeah, there's a lot of the stories have to do with like fiery, infernos and stuff. So,
which I'll prestidigitate and make some fires, appear, and
yeah.
Yeah, they are absolutely delighted by you guys.
Yeah.
Like, they have gone from wanting to throw rocks at you and potentially bash your heads in to just completely okay with this.
The important thing is that I didn't do any actual work all day because I don't even remember what that's like. I'm Prince now. Gathering food. That's what all the other people at the palace do.
yeah, I was gonna go gather food, but you know what? When I can conjure some critters, let them do
Yeah,
it.
we're
So
inspiring them.
Because I summon bats now.
Prudence.
Yeah, what's up with that?
The wand that we got from the demon lets me do that.
Oh,
Yeah, from Prudence and Myth's mom.
oh okay.
Prudence is going to then take all these different ingredients and she's going to make a version of like orange chicken that's kind of spicy and almost more like chicken teriyaki, but in place of the chicken there's these mushrooms, so that like she's showing them how to prepare the mushrooms in a way that they like are hearty and substantial, using the berries for flavor and kind of evoking that spiciness, the sweet and sour from the orange, all that sort of stuff, supplementing like maybe some soy sauce, sugar, and salt from my mess kit that I have, and just kind of like really showing them how to cook properly.
Steven, you're making me hungry. You gotta stop.
I'm sorry I cooked today.
I made an Asian noodle dish for lunch. So that's reminding me.
Yeah, that's really what she's doing. She's really showing them like her version of comfort food. Like, this is Prudence's comfort food here, and so she's
That's
showing them
fantastic.
how to do that. So and she'll teach them how to use chopsticks too if they want to. So yeah, I don't know if I have to roll to figure out how to make it good or not, but yeah, that's what my plan is for her for the night. Basically just teaching them stuff with cooking.
All right. So are you guys staying on the boat?
Sure.
I would imagine so. I would probably want to, learn more about my siblings, and I would probably spend a lot of time, after they're done learning about cooking and stuff, telling them about my life or whatever. Since most of their life has just been them being frozen.
All right, so they don't have beds on the ship. It's all hammocks, and the hammocks are like made of leaves and found materials, but they're actually pretty sturdy. They're also all made for children. But Marzan and Lurza are both perfectly happy to hear your stories, Unga, and they're like extremely impressed by some of the things that you've done, and they'll like tell you about some of the things that they remember about like living in the tribe before everybody got frozen. Of course, Lurza remembers more of that stuff than Marzan does because she was 11 when all of this started happening. So she actually had time to internalize a lot of it, and he was just too little to remember. This is kind of all he knows.
So when we go to sleep too, Prudence is going to meld into stone. So she's going to turn into a statue again.
Cool.
Yeah. Just turning into a gargoyle statue for the night whenever everybody goes to bed.
Gillisan, would those bats be able to carry a message to Myth?
They probably won't last that long.
Okay,
They
I
don't
don't.
last long enough
Like
to-
Vent has no idea. They're just like, I don't know, they're magical bats.
Yeah, they last for a time, but without knowing the specific direction, unless you were close, I highly doubt it, my brother.
Well, as I turn over to go to sleep, I don't know if it'll work, but I will concentrate on my one remaining redstone and just think about Myth, who has my. Where is it? It's Carnelian stone.
Okay.
We met in Luster. I don't know. Like I said, just for roll RP or whatever, but I'm just thinking about it and like trying to let them know where we are and put out the sibling sense that they're needed.
So, do you guys take watches, or are you just going to sleep through the night here?
I feel completely safe in these children's hands. I sleep soundly.
I think I can remain aware while melded into stone.
Okay, well, Prudence, in that case, you're the one that notices this, but sometime in the middle of the night, you hear the creaking of armor and Louvel, like, just trotting down the coast of the beach. The sword, not in hand, but, like, just a hand resting on it and just sort of looking around.
Okay. All right. I would like to use my movement to end the spell, and I'll just like flutter down and I'll be like, Louvel, hello. Yes, we found a gaggle of children. And
Is that why you didn't come back?
yes, because some of them are Unga's siblings.
Oh. Okay, well then I'll go back to the tower and go to bed. I just wanted to make sure you guys hadn't fallen into any kind of trouble.
Oh, no, that is much appreciated. We actually need to get hold of Myth. Do you have any means to send a message?
No, not on my person. I've just kind of been talking to Talus. There's some stuff you guys need to hear about, but that we can worry about that tomorrow.
All right. Well, then in that case, we will meet with you tomorrow. Would you rather come here or shall we go to you?
I don't know. What do you think would be best?
I think that if you want to meet the children, and if Dad wants to meet the children, then it's better for you to come here. Otherwise, we can go there.
I think it might be best if we come here too, because I've been finding some things out from Talus that are. I don't know. I need your opinions on it before we see that woman again.
Okay. That's totally fair, and I'm happy to help
Okay.
wherever I can.
Well, do you guys need anything? Anything I can bring here?
Perhaps if you could bring some food and blankets
Okay,
to the children.
got it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And they nod and withdraw back into the
She'll-
woods.
She'll kind of give them like a little bit of an awkward hug when they are ready to leave.
Oh, quite likewise. Quite likewise.
Yeah, that would be awkward both ways.
Yes, we'll see you tomorrow. And I realized I actually did not have one of my spells prepared that I could prepare because I had 8 out of 9. Yay, D&D Beyond. I'm glad it tells me these things. So I actually would like to, if you'll allow it,
Oh, yeah.
have Animal Messenger prepared, and I'd like to just ritually cast that.
Okay, absolutely.
So, okay, I will summon a bat that she will sort of like whistle, and it kind of echoes on the wind and gets higher pitched until it's out of the hearing range. And then a bat comes and she will give it a message to send to Myth in what is it?
Portmanteau.
Portmanteau. I'm not sure why that's hard for me to remember, but yes, I would like to send a message to Myth saying that we need a ship and give her the way to get here.
Okay.
And then it can flitter off, and that will be that. If it will take more than a day to do it, I can do it at a higher level.
Portmanteau is not more than a day away as the crow flies, and you only need it to last long enough to give the message, not to come back. So you should be fine.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, that's what we'll do. So that way we have that, and then that will just be that.
All right. Anything anybody else wants to do before the next morning, or are we good to pick up with Lubel and Calden getting there?
So it doesn't have to be in the evening, but I would like to inquire from the kids as to what specifically they're doing with the elves.
Oh, they've just been stealing stuff. The bushel of oranges that they have totally came from your family's holdings. Like, it's got the sigil on a little clay stamp. You know, and they like talk about occasionally playing pranks on the really old man, which could be anyone because everybody that's over the age of 18 is really old to them.
Sure. Like I don't care so much about like them stealing the food, but I want to like inquire more about what Cheyenne is asking them to take. Like, is there anything that he's asked them to like get and retrieve for him, or is it just been, hey, there's stuff there, go take and do as you will?
So Lurza is the one that knows the most about this, but she's like, he wants anything that is very magical. And there's not really a rhyme or reason to it. He doesn't always give us specific things that he wants. He just wants things that are really magical. And I think, if you want to know what I think he's just using them, like sucking the magic out of them and repurposing it for something else.
Now, how do you know whether something is magical or not?
Well, she pulls this crystal on a chain out of the collar of her shirt. This glows, and it's brighter the more magical something is. And it's like glowing in your presence, and she just kind of cocks her head at it.
So, I mean, I've got a potion, I've got, the different things within myself, and I've got the wand. So
she like takes it off and holds it next to your items, and like it glows brighter next to the wand than it does next to the potion, like. So like that.
you think that Cheyenne is taking the magic out of things to do something else with it?
I mean, can you do that?
Sadly, I am not one to have spent time in study with all of that. A lot of I have practiced my magic, but I have not studied.
Well, you can take the heat out of something and put it into something else by holding it up against it and stuff.
That is true.
So maybe magic works like that too, if you know how.
Maybe if you know how. I've not learned how to take magic out of things.
But it's just a guess because of what I saw him doing with it.
What did you see?
Well, he took the mirror and he set it in front of him, and he kind of held one of his big lion paws over it, and it just sort of glowed, and I saw this sort of wispy stuff come up out of it into his paw, and then he put it in a bigger crystal.
I'm a little concerned about what he's trying to do there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it possible that he uses the crystal to be able to put people to sleep?
Maybe.
Have you ever seen him put someone to sleep into the freeze?
Yeah. He freezes all the other kids before he does me, and he makes me watch him do it.
And does he use the crystal?
Well, it's a really big crystal. He can't take it with him. But he's really magical too.
Well, thank you for that.
Hmm. And you too for the lights and stuff.
Oh, of course, I like showing off magic. It's fun.
I'd probably show off too if I could do it.
Oh,
I just punch things real good.
well, stick to your strengths. If you like doing it and you're good at it, don't let anyone try to stop you.
No, I won't. And she just grins.
I can see some resemblance between you and Unga.
Thanks, I think.
It's a good thing.
And she just grins again. And at that point, she'd probably run off to go to bed because I imagine this was happening like before that.
For sure.
I'll walk
All right.
up from behind and put my arm around her and be like, "Hey, big sis," because Unga is kind of figuring things out, and now he finds it really funny that these are his older siblings.
Yeah. And she smiles at that because, you know, she likes it. Unga, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to know what Mom called you before?
I think Unga just looks really puzzled for a moment, and I never thought about that before.
Well, it doesn't have to be right now. Just think about it, and if you want to know, I'll let you know.
I think I want to find Grisha and let her tell me.
Okay.
But thank you.
And she'll kind of hug you back, and it's not as awkward because she hasn't really gotten to that age where hugging becomes awkward yet.
She just doesn't know it.
No, I mean, like, nobody's been around to tell her, so she, you know, runs off. And the next morning, Louvel shows up with Calden. And Calden's like kind of pointing around at things as they're walking. And like he pauses, and Marzen's like peering around a corner. He's like, "I know you. You're that guy that kept on like bringing Mom away while we were trying to eat dinner." And Calden's just like got this really awkward look on his face, and so they like peel off to have a separate conversation. And Louvel is like motioning all of you guys over to the side because he doesn't want because they don't want the kids to hear what they have to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so we might have a problem.
Of course.
When don't we have a problem?
So yeah, Talus.
Talus the Chalice.
Right?
I love it.
Well, it turns out she's kind of working for more organized Celestials, and we haven't entirely escaped their notice.
Well,
They've
we
been
are heroes of destiny, so I would imagine that's so.
Well, they've been looking for the missing stars for a really long time. They've been wanting to get that sword back. And she's not coming after us right now because she's got bigger fish to fry, but she kind of let it slip to me that she's kind of supposed to be.
Mm,
I understand.
I
Well,
don't.
stars are very important to the celestial cosmology, Louvel.
And they're also really important to us.
Yeah, but we didn't always have them. Right? Or wait, because when we, out of character, we like, we were siblings and they had that tattoo, but we didn't actually have the star in
No,
us.
you absolutely did. Like, as long as you can remember, you have had that star in you.
Okay.
We just unlocked its power.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood.
mm.
Well, I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, Louvel. Right now, we do have those stars in us, and I think we might need the Sword of Xiphos if a Sphinx stands in our way.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that I certainly don't want to give it up. And
We'll find a way.
why does she get to say whether or not they try to take them back just because she works for some kind of angel?
That's a great point. We'll have to ask them that questions if they ever catch up with us.
We're not going to let them do that?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
What do you all think? I certainly don't want to give up what we've got.
Well, you're the leader.
Yeah, but that's a pretty deeply personal thing, Unga. I wouldn't want to make some kind of life-altering choice for you.
Well,
As your leader, I demand that you all give me your honest thoughts.
I trust you, and
Well,
I know you're much smarter than me. So,
and Louvella's wisdom has guided me very closely throughout this last year, and I think you make an interesting point, Louvel. Who are they to say what the natural order of things would be? Seems like the cosmology is operating just fine for the last 20 odd years that we've had these stars hidden in us.
I'm happy to have the power. I like the options that it gives us. As you said, does not seem to be any harm in its removal. But should you say we should give it up, then I would follow my dear brother.
Fair enough. Now, last night, and I'll pull out my Cinnabar. If you all remember, I gave Myth one of these, and I think it may have some residual magic, so it's a good chance that I was able to get a message to her in the night last night.
Oh, that reminds me. I also sent a bat.
Oh, I see how my destiny manifested in your magic. That's amazing.
Of course.
Val just like snickering politely from behind their hands.
At any rate, Louvel, did you bring the blankets and the food for the children?
Oh yeah, we sure did. Calden's got those.
All right, good.
And he's just over there distributing stuff now as we speak.
I've actually sent the message to Myth yesterday, so we should expect her within probably no more than 2 or 3 days, which would give us enough time to perhaps mingle with the children and help prepare them better for whatever is to come.
We could also stop by Galeason's family if he wanted to do that. Louvel says, cautiously testing the waters.
These kids do seem quite interested, and Cheyenne and whatever they've got there.
It's at about that point that you hear a harsh impact and a cracking sound. Larza absolutely just punched Calden in the face.
Oh. Probably deserved that.
Can I recognize if she did so with a degree of martial arts prowess? Because I am a monk for 1 level.
You are a monk for 1 level. Yeah, somebody definitely taught this girl how to throw a punch.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I love these arcs.
So I would like to, at some point, not necessarily immediately, but at some point, connect with Lurza and talk to her about martial arts and talk to her about how Prudence heard tell of being able to unlock inner magic with in the form of ki, and sort of like help her pursue that path. I don't know if she has a level in monk or not, but if I can get her to a full level bed.
She has the potential, but she's not quite there yet. But all right, so that is duly noted. Yeah. Calden kind of walks over to where you guys are, like popping his nose back into place and muttering something about that definitely being Grisha's daughter.
So his father comes over. It appears that things are being suggested that we go see my mother and my grandfather.
Oh, I don't know if I can handle being punched in the face twice today.
Perhaps you should learn to duck.
It's probably not a bad idea.
Do you feel there are any words that could make amends for, shall we say, your actions?
Oh, absolutely not. Maybe with your mother, definitely not with your grandfather.
Well, I care more for my mother than my grandfather.
I wouldn't mind checking in on her.
Well, and I'll gesture towards my siblings, but locking gaze with Vint. If we have time, I would not be opposed, not jumping for joy at the chance. What say you?
I mean, family comes first with this crowd, right? If it's a reunion, that's in order. I think that's been guiding us. That's been our own guiding star this whole time.
Just bear in mind that, my grandfather is rather overbearing and will not be pleased to see myself nor father here.
Yeah, but I kind of like look over at Unga doing whatever he's doing and be like, I don't think he has any qualms about punching an old man, do you? I mean, I don't think we have much to worry about.
Oh, I'm not worried. I mean, to a certain degree, I expect some manner of civility. But
I frankly don't. From what you told me, it sounds like a pretty awful person.
Frankly, if you upset your grandfather, wait till he gets a load of us.
Well, it is my mere presence.
We're like the in-laws kind of thing. We're married in family.
When he meets the extended family.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
If anything, perhaps we might be able to barter and negotiate and get some proper foodstuffs to be able to bring to your siblings, kin here.
Yeah, and if we happen to show up and show to your family that you've become an amazing person that flies in the face of all the crappy things they said to you growing up, that's just an added benefit.
Well, as Dad said, checking in on Mom would be good. I don't think anything short of becoming some highfalutin. I look over at Luval before I finish, or before I continue. Some heroic entity that I would be able to impress my dear father, or my dear grandfather. So
I don't know. Having a star inside your body seems pretty impressive. I'll clap him on the shoulder. Maybe a little harder than I thought.
Thank you for that, but I don't think grandfather would see it quite the same. Can I prove that it's legitimately a star and not just some magic?
Yeah, we got celestial secret agents after us and everything.
Again, without the proof, it's mere words.
Well, if we're lucky, maybe they'll show up to ambush us while we're there.
And me with only a little bit of fire to throw. So I actually hit this long rest button since I have spell slot.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was down kind of low. What? I don't remember. Oh yeah, it was those Black Riders. Messed me up.
So
And that
what is-
unicorn.
Shadhavar.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
is your plan going forward? What is the next thing you plan to do?
So we are gonna wait. We're waiting here until Myth gets here with a boat, right?
It's going to take Myth a couple of days.
Okay,
So if you're
so,
going
yeah,
to
I
go
think-
to the Trisrael lens, you might want to go ahead and do that before Myth gets here.
Yeah, I think that sounds like it was the plan, right? So
I think so.
All right. So are you guys just going to like straight up walk in? Are you making a plan of approach? Like how you want to do this?
I leave that
Well-
to Sin. I mean, I would just walk in, but
So there is the four of us plus the crab plus Luval plus
Calden.
Calden. So that's quite a little party.
Wait, you said these people, your grandfather's hard to impress?
Yes.
Well, I mean, we are sort of a diplomatic detachment from Luster. I mean, that seems pretty impressive, right? Got a knight of the realm, a prince.
Yeah, that's true. So what are you thinking as far as method of approach?
Well, we need something they can see from far away. Maybe like a banner or something like that. And there's like, you said there's about a dozen orc kids around.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, he's just sort of used to having servants around and stuff in the palace. So I didn't even think. I'm just gonna start having the kids be like, "You there, grab that big canvas over there," and stuff like that, and having them sort of directing them to sort of like, I'm describing like maybe the crest of the city and. Have them sort of, and I'll frame it in the sense of like it's a craft project, like it's craft time. Like we're gonna make a banner today to represent our clan, and I'm just gonna have them kind of work if they're into. I mean, I'm not, trying to
I mean,
kind
they
of check or something.
hesitate at first and look to Lurza, but when she nods, they go ahead.
I'll like whisper to her like, "Thank you." She gets it. True leader material right there.
So I'll help in whatever manner is possible.
Okay.
I don't have anything in performance or tools beyond like
Me neither.
kit or a forgery kit, but I'm pretty good at sleight of hand, which means I'm pretty damn dexterous.
Okay. You can draw, and then they can just be like the inkers, the tracers.
Connect the dots.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're gonna connect the dots craft time. That's
then
today's D&D challenge, folks.
And
Getting
then since
kids
it's,
to create a connect the dots crest.
And since it's from Luster, I want to have Prudence kind of use her produce flame and decoratively like burn the edges of the flag.
Yes.
Okay.
Kandara would love
One.
that.
Number one, I think it would look cool, and number two would stop any kind of like frayed ends or be like, oh,
Mhm.
obviously a sail.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, she can do that.
Yeah, you guys end up looking, with something that looks fairly decent, actually. And it's made to be seen from a distance, so clearly.
We'll put it on a big pole. We'll have somebody carry it.
I think that'll be my job.
Sure. I didn't want to say anything, Unga, but if you're gonna offer it, make more sense.
right,
If only we had somebody strong.
Are you sending word ahead, or are you just gonna show up?
I think showing up.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys just show up, and you're rolling up in this caravan. Are you taking the orc kids with you, or is it just you guys?
I think just us, right?
Okay.
Yeah, or kids have been stealing, but it's possible that they could be aware to some degree. So let's not make a direct correlation just yet.
Mhm.
So you guys come in through the front gates with your banner flying, and it actually they have to scramble to get an appropriate receiving party because you didn't send word ahead. Everything's
Just-
pretty.
I want them off kilter.
Oh yeah, and they absolutely are. It's the staff that comes out first and like sees you guys coming, and they're like scrambling.
Does the sword come next?
To get the family together. And so, like, after a little while, the door opens, and the first member of the family to walk out, Sin, is your mom. And she's got her hair kind of pinned back out of her face, and she's like just a little tendril hanging in it. And she always has that one lock of hair that just stubbornly will not stay put in her bun. And that's always been the case, and it's the case now. And the second she sees you, forget decorum. She's gonna walk over and pull you into a hug.
And I will absolutely embrace her.
You have been gone for so long. Did you get taller? It seems like you've gotten taller.
Hello, my dear mother. I don't know. It has been some time. Been chasing some odds and ends, and I'll, look from sibling to sibling to sibling. But guess who I found? And I'll kind of like have Vint step aside and reveal Calden.
And he kind of gives her this awkward little smile and offers her this flower that he absolutely picked like off of one of their own bushes on the way in here. And she looks at it and looks at him and gives him this like, of course you did little smile, and just goes to take it, but then he puts it in her hair instead. And he's like, you have not changed a bit. You haven't aged a day. And she's like, but I can't say the same for you. You got old. And he's just like, my lady, you cut me to the quick.
So there's been a lot to discuss. I don't know if all of it is meant to be done here, but perhaps we could go to the sitting room and have a bite.
And she nods and she's like, well, you should know that father isn't here right now. He's actually off talking to someone at the moment. He's still trying to arrange a marriage for me, and it's with an absolutely detestable man at this point, but I'll figure out a way to ruin it like I always do. Please come in. And she like ushers you all into the house.
My smile becomes genuine when she says that grandfather is not there, and you would any of you who are perceptive would see like Sin's footsteps become later.
I'll bow formally to this woman and say, ma'am, Prince Vent of the city of Leicester, I thank you for your hospitality.
And it's been quite some time since we played host to anybody outside our rank. You'll have to forgive me. If I had known ahead of time, I would have made sure that things were more polished.
I'll sort of lean down and just like talk about it and be like, actually, a lot of this rigmarole was just to throw off your father. So if he's not here, I'll sort of like kind of drop my formal pretense and just be a little bit more casual.
And she just beams at that. And she's like, well, all of you heard the man. When father gets home, you make sure that he knows there's a prince in our house and that we were not prepared. And she just flounces into the house and kind of like picks up the hem of her skirt like a Disney princess.
Mhm.
And the inside is actually immaculate. Like it looks like they were prepared, but this is her definition of not prepared. They don't have the banners up quite. They have a couple of them, but they're not the nice banners, and like the marble floors are all polished and like there's not a speck of dust in sight. And she like leads you into a room with a blue carpet and like, furniture that should have plastic covering it from the look of it, like, and like there's food brought in, like finger sandwiches and such. There's a piano in the corner.
Beautiful home.
Oh, thank you. You are too kind.
So I'll introduce everybody and apologize for not actually having done so outside, especially not specifically introducing Prince Vent. I just was too delayed.
Yeah.
And of course, the weight of seeing grandfather again was kind of heavy upon my shoulders.
There is not a thing that he can do to hurt you now.
Too true. Too true. Well, so let's throw all of this aside, and I'll gesture through all of them. All of us are Calden's kids.
You've been busy. And he just looks appropriately abashed by this, like kind of scratching the back of his head, and he's like, look,
Yes, the crab as well.
really?
Hmm.
He's like, look, there was a polymorph involved and I was very drunk. And if it makes you feel any better, it was the most important crab in the crab colony.
Hear that, Sheldon?
And
Oh,
Sheldon, just kind
Sheldon,
of
are you
puffs.
royalty?
Me and Sheldon exchange knowing looks.
So let's ask
We're not like
you,
neighbors.
and I'll just kind of like, shove Dad aside. Did he tell you anything about, well, anything of what he was trying to do?
What do you mean?
So you know the mark upon my shoulder, yes?
Yes. It actually wasn't there when you were born. He came back to visit you exactly once, but you were too young to remember it.
I'll just point it where it's clearly visible upon Sheldon.
I see.
We all have it.
And
Yep.
that didn't hurt him in any way, did it? And she like gets this straight up cold look on her face as her eyes fall on Calden. And he's like, no. Actually, if anything, it made him more powerful.
So I don't remember which shoulder it's on, but for right now, I'll assume it's on my right, but I'll allow the light to kind of like come up my arm and into my hand.
Oh my. And what exactly is that?
Yes.
Oh,
It's a star. We all have stars in us.
forgive me. I'm counting 6 of you.
There is another. She is otherwise detained.
I see.
Is supposed to be coming this way.
So you have sisters and brothers.
We're all
And she-
siblings, ma'am. Yes.
Eyes at Prudence for a moment before like standing up and walking over and like putting hands on your arms. And she's like, I have not been around many girls, but I think I have something that you might like. And I of course, Galason, I have things for you too that have just built up over the years, but you.
Please tell
it's
me you
something
left
that you
his
probably.
room. Sorry.
No, what was it?
I was gonna say, please tell me you left his room like it was when he left.
Oh, it's absolutely untouched. I won't let anyone go in there.
Oh my god, you probably had the most embarrassing paintings on your wall.
And she smiles and like gives Galason a sidelong look, and it's almost like she's asking permission.
By all
So-
means.
She disappears to the upstairs, and that like a little bit while later she comes down with a photo album and a box that she then hands to Galason, and there's a gown over her arm that she then proceeds to pass to Prudence, and she's like, this has not fit me in years, but it looks like it would fit you perfectly.
And it's backless. How lovely.
Yes. That was the style at the time. It's changed a little bit since then, but
Thank you.
I do hope you don't mind.
I don't. Thank you.
It's not exactly family, but it's close enough.
No, she's family. You all are.
And frankly speaking, the mother I grew up with rarely gave me trinkets or gifts that didn't have a purpose, especially a magical one.
Oh, I mean, this does have a purpose, but it is to make you feel pretty.
It's lovely. Thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome. And then she'll sit down and start like going through things in the box with Galacin, and they're all like little weird things that like a rock that's an interesting shape that she thought you would like, and like a bleached magpie skull, and like just things that she knew that you would like that she's just collected over the years. And she's so excited to give you these things finally, and she tells you about the days that she got all of them.
Right, well, I will delight at the things that actually I would be delighted in, and lie my ass off if not anything that and I'm equally good at persuasion and deception, so
Yeah, she absolutely believes you the entire time.
of course she does.
Is she human or elf? She's elf, right?
She's
Elven.
Elven.
Oh yeah, because Colin was the human. Sorry.
And she's like giving you all the latest gossip and everything.
And I will drink it in. So I imagine have like servants bring out like charcuterie boards or something, and
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's food. And like every time anybody drops anything, it's instantly prestidigitated up by one of the serving staff.
People are
They are
very
just
nice.
on point.
This is a very magical place.
so what is grandfather up to these days?
Well, right now he's trying to rub elbows with other families. They've not really wanted much to do with us in recent years, but I'm perfectly fine with this because honestly, they're a bit of a drag. He's obsessed with getting our status back to where it was, however, and you know, it's not like we're hurting for money, but he makes this big deal about the fact that the coffers are more empty than they've been in years, and it just goes off the handle. You know how he is.
Do you know anything of the orcs in the area?
Well, I do know that there are a few of them that keep resorting to banditry, apparently. They've just been stealing things, but no one's gotten hurt so far, so I'm not too concerned about it. Why?
Well, past the east pasture, there seems to be like orcs that seem to be frozen in time.
Oh, that. Yes, I've heard about that.
Do you know anything about it?
Very little.
What have you
I mean,
heard, seen? What do you know?
well, I know that at one point a shadow passed overhead, and I know that they stopped causing trouble for everyone, so we didn't think too hard about it.
Were the orcs a problem prior to?
Oh, yes. Goodness, yes. They were, prone to raiding and pillaging, as orcs are wont to do. Generally on the outskirts, it didn't really affect us over much, but, well, you know.
And what do you know, albeit anything, of the name Cheyenne?
Ah. I mean, other than that story that they used to tell you when you were a kid, and I think they told it to me as well when I was a child. Just that he's a sphinx and one of the rare male kind. That he, I heard one of them about him granting wishes, and I heard one of them about him torturing people. I'm really not sure what to think. But why? Does this have something to do with why you're here?
It has all of these and more. We are looking for my brother Unga's mother. She is a
I
member
see.
of that tribe, and this Sphinx is the one who has set them all frozen in time and has Unga's mother. So
Oh.
anything within the libraries that might aid us, perhaps.
Oh, I'm sure. I will have every book with that name mentioned pulled for you before you go.
Do you know how long before grandfather is expected to return?
Oh, he's been gone for several hours now. It could be any minute.
Oh,
Um,
I was
but
hoping you would say days.
If you would like,
Like
I
5
can have-
minutes?
I can have the books brought to you instead.
Well, I am already here. I am traveling with a prince, and I'm just going to position myself while I'm doing it. A prince on one side, and well, father on the other. So who
Oh,
knows?
he is absolutely going to lose his mind.
Hmm.
And that is about the time that you hear like some fluttering in the hall, and that just that oh so familiar whip crack of a voice. Like, and you didn't let me know that this was happening in advance. This place is filthy. This is absolutely unacceptable. And then the curtain pulls back as he enters imperiously into the drawing room, and then pauses as his eyes fall directly onto you, Sin. And he just gets this sour look on his face for just a moment.
I will give him the biggest shit-eating grin I can for going into, proper courtly and all of that, and go into a low, graceful bow. My long dark hair, the sin of my name, fall to the side before I stand back up. Well, grandfather, allow me to introduce my traveling companion and brother, Prince Vent of Luster.
Sir, thanks for welcoming us to your home. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard a lot about you.
And that is where we are going to cut off for the evening.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, Robin, and everyone for playing, and everyone for watching. And we will be back next week with Those Bastards for episode 3. Friday, we'll be back for our live chat. And until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.